is there anything particular that you specialize in, or is there any sort of particular thing that you like doing in your practice?
My speciality, I guess, is children, because I'm a children's nurse. I'm still registered as a children's nurse, so I'm the only hypnotherapist in this area that will happily see children. Others do see them, but they're not particularly happy about it. But also, I tend to get a lot of, I think because of my nursing background, I tend to get a lot of the more, if you like, more difficult clients. So people with, I guess, with more challenging behaviours than other people will get, because they, you know, they'll Google, they'll see that I'm a nurse and think, oh yeah, she'll be able to deal with this. So I get quite a few clients who've been abused as children, clients that have been raped, those sorts of things, because I was nursing for 32 years, and I spent probably about 12 years or so in London teaching hospitals. I trained in London, so, you know, I like to think now that anything that anyone brings into my therapy room won't faze me, because I'll have either seen it, heard about it, or done it myself. So, and I guess that's part of my USP is, you know, you can say whatever you like to me, I've probably heard about it before anyway, or because I've dealt with, you know, in my nursing career with rapists, murderers, child abusers, you know, prostitutes, drug addicts, you name it, everything. So yeah, that's sort of my USP, if you like, apart from being a nurse.
Amazing. So what kind of, you know, drew you to Quest, and what has been your sort of personal story in Quest?
So I was looking a while ago, before I came to Quest, for a way out of the NHS, because they've had their pound of flesh from me. I'd been nursing at that point. I'd been nursing for about 30 years. Couldn't find anything. I kept thinking about hypnotherapy, because I had hypnotherapy to stop smoking, which was successful. And just, you know, none of the hypnotherapy courses that I was looking at the time grabbed me. They just all seemed a bit sort of shonky, I suppose, sort of like, you know, train this weekend and you'll come away with a diploma. And that's, from my nursing background, that isn't, you know, that's not me. So I gave up on that, carried on nursing, and then I did a coaching diploma, and realised quite quickly that with coaching, you're not supposed to deal with issues from the past. So realised I was going to be sending clients off to somebody for therapy who more often than not are going to be coaches as well. So I was then going to lose that client. So then I looked into hypnotherapy again, and Quest just kept popping up on my Google feed, as these things do. And I kept looking at it thinking, yeah, I want to do that, but I want to do some more research. And then I settled on Quest for a few reasons. Firstly, because it's of the modular training, which is how I did my nurse training. So that appealed to me. The fact that it was over 10 months as well. The fact that there was, which is crazy, the fact that there was so much written work to do to get your diploma. So it wasn't just you attend the course and you get your diploma. There was a lot of, you know, sort of written stuff to do, and the practical stuff that you have to do, and the fact that you're practicing the whole time between weekends, and it just, everything sort of came together at that point. And I thought, right, this is the course that I want to do. And I think with, also because of Trevor and Bex's background in the police as well, you know, as a nurse, that was sort of like, yeah, that seals the deal for me. So that was how I found Quest and why I started with Quest. And then I started my training, and I think I was probably about halfway through, maybe a third of the way through. And I had some issues that had been with me since I was a child. And I thought, I'm going to have to go and get this sorted out, because I can't start practicing as a cognitive hypnotherapist and still have all of this baggage behind me. So I didn't mess around. I went to the top. I went to see Trevor. I had 2 sessions, and I'd had so much therapy through my, even as a child, but as a teenager and in my 20s and in my 30s, and nobody has been able to help with these particular issues. And I saw Trevor twice, and it was like an epiphany. It was like, wow, this is amazing. So that was, that completely, the deal was already sealed, and that just put the lock on it. Right, this is definitely what I'm going to do. So that was how, that was sort of my journey.
Yeah, that's amazing. So obviously with all of your background and the type of clients that you see now, if there was, you may not be able to kind of narrow it down to one thing, but if there was one kind of maybe tool or resource or something that you want to give to the viewers that would really help them right now, what they perhaps could do themselves, what would it be?
There is a tool that I use an awful lot with my clients, which isn't from cognitive hypnotherapy. It's from another therapy called TFT, which is thought field therapy. But CogHip is such a blend of different therapies. And it's called the PR triangle. So PR stands for psychological reversal. And it's just a tapping technique that I teach to an awful lot of my clients, because it helps. If you're psychologically reversed, it means that we've got electrical charge in our body, and the back of our hand, so this part of our body is a negative charge, this part is a positive charge. If those are reversed, so if we have a negative thought, negative feeling, we're self-sabotaging, anything like that, those will be reversed. And that's what causes those behaviours. So by practicing the PR triangle, it helps to reverse psychological reversal, if that makes sense. So it puts everything back in place. So to do it, you need to make sure that your legs aren't crossed. So your legs are uncrossed, because we're basically dealing with the electromagnetic field that flows around our body. Okay, if your legs are crossed, it's like having a crossroads in the road. Something's got to stop. Okay, so you need it to be like a ring road. Okay, and then you start off by tapping on the side of the hand where you would, if you imagine you're doing a karate chop, and we're going to tap that about 30 times. It's not precise. If you do it 40 times, it doesn't matter. Okay, don't know how many times that is. That's about 30. And then you're going to tap on the top of your index finger next to the fingernail. Then you're going to tap under your nose. Then you're going to tap under your bottom lip. So in the crease, there's sort of like, that's it. And then tap under your nose again. And then you're going to tap on the top of the other index finger by the fingernail. And then you're going to tap on the side of that hand. And then you're going to stop tapping. Take a deep breath. And can you feel tingling in your fingers now? Yeah? That just means that everything is now flowing as it should be. So it means that your electromagnetic field, there's no blockages in it. So then once you've done that with clients, you can then go on to doing, there's so many other things around TFT, and there's another therapy that I studied called CITAP, which has got kinesiology in it as well, which I thought was a bit woo-woo. But actually, it's not at all. I mean, I know Trevor does some of it in the course, where you do the holding your arm out and imagining a strong colour. That's kinesiology. So it's a really good tool if people are feeling anxious, if they're feeling stressed about something. You don't have to do the full triangle. So if somebody is about to go into a meeting, or they're sitting in a meeting and they're feeling stressed, they can just tap on the side of their hand. They don't have to sit there with their hand up in the air. They can do it on their leg. They can do it on the chair, on the arm of the chair. They can do it on the desk. They can do it under the desk. But it's just a really good tool. I've got people that have, I've had clients who have anxiety with driving, and they do it on the steering wheel. So they're holding the steering wheel with one hand and they're tapping their hand, the side of their hand, on the other. So it's a really, really useful tool.
So do they just have to do one hand, or just both of them?
They just do one hand, because that's enough, because they're doing the full cycle. Because I get clients to do it at least twice a day, if they've got time. So, for example, if they're going into a meeting, they know they've got a meeting in 5 minutes' time, I tell them to go into the loo and do the triangle while they're in the loo. If they're going for an interview or something, then to do that before they actually go into wherever they're having the interview. If it's, because obviously at the moment we can't do face-to-face stuff, or we're quite limited. So if it was an online meeting, I would say to them, just do the whole triangle before you start the meeting. And then if you start to feel stressed or anxious during the meeting, you can just do it. And you can just about see that part of my t-shirt moving, but that's it. And I'm tapping the side of my hand. If I did that, you can just about see that. But you're not, on the whole, in a Zoom meeting, you're looking at somebody's face. You're not looking at what's going on, unless you're a cognitive hypnotherapist, of course.
That's amazing. I absolutely love it. I mean, obviously people didn't see I was actually tapping with you, and I use tapping and some other resources myself. But yeah, it's a really quick and practical tool that everyone can do. So thank you very much for that.